In the wake of George Floyd's death, the Black Lives Matter movement is highlighting police unions and the role they play in protecting officers. Union contracts can offer a range of protections. In Louisville, Kentucky, for example, the union contract requires that officers involved in Breonna Taylor's shooting death received a 48-hour notice before they were interrogated. We've reached out to that union and have not heard back. Errol Barnett, though, shows us how contracts like these can affect investigations into officers.
I am immediately withdrawing from the contract negotiations with the Minneapolis Police Federation.
This announcement, made days after George Floyd's killing, exposed the complicated relationships often existing between police unions and local officials.
We are sick and tired of the Police Federation getting in the way.
In cities and towns across the country, lawmakers work with police unions to negotiate officers' compensation and disciplinary procedures. Those very contracts, determined at the local level, varying from city to city, and now a focal point of police reform.
What these agreements often do is they impede reasonable accountability efforts, and they often can serve as barriers to reasonable investigation, oversight, and disciplinary procedures.
Stephen Russian teaches law at Loyola University in Chicago, where he also studies police accountability.
Take an example like San Antonio, Texas. You got to give officers before the interrogation access to video evidence, access to GPS coordinates, complaints, witness statements, and affidavits before you can even question them about allegations of misconduct.
According to the San Antonio Police Officers Association, these provisions apply only to alleged civil service rule violations and have no bearing on any criminal investigations officers may face. In a statement to CBS News, the association said they're not, quote, tone deaf to the concerns of police transparency, going on to say their collective bargaining agreement is a living document, adding as we move forward in time and our industry adapts to changes, there will be a need to make modifications. Omaha, Nebraska, like San Antonio, allows officers to review video evidence before they're interrogated.
Access to the video is only there to help refresh the officer's memory, so their officer is given the most accurate statement to the incident.
In Nebraska, officer misconduct records are confidential. Anthony Connor is president of the Omaha Police Officers Association.
Is it possible for people in Omaha to see the disciplinary records of police officers?
Similar to other public sector employees, no, it's not.
Do you think it should be to gain the public's trust?
Actually, no, I don't. It's a tragic situation, but whether it's George Floyd or the incident in Atlanta, you hear the argument that the person's history doesn't matter. Well, if the history don't matter with them, why would it matter with a police officer? That's where I think there's some confusion in what the public says they want.
Well, I guess the difference would be one person is being paid to protect people and the other is just a citizen, presumed innocent.
I can recognize that, but at the same time, I still think that the personnel records should not be open.
But Connor does support President Trump's recent executive order calling for a database to track officers' excessive use of force.
We should not have police officers that are fired from one agency for misconduct and then hired down the road.
How does it feel to hear the criticisms of unions in this larger discussion of implementing reforms?
It's kicking us out of the room and not having us as part of the conversation.
Does the public have any input in these police union contracts?
Yes, they do, because the public votes for the mayor, who's actually going to sign the contract. They vote for the city council, who votes for the contract.
Where a police department doesn't have the resources to meet the financial demands of the police unions, an easy way to settle that negotiation is to make some concessions on discipline. It's easy to just blame the union, but that doesn't really get at the problem. These contracts didn't write themselves. So the question then is, why are our political leaders signing off on these bad deals all across the country?
As negotiations continue during calls for police reform, holding local officials accountable, Russian says, is essential. For CBS This Morning, Errol Barnett, New York.
Sounds like he's right there. This all comes down to politics. All right, Errol, thank you very much.